No matter where you are in the world, please go to the nearest white guy, look him dead in the eye, and give him a hug. He may not realize it right now, but he'll need it in the not so distant future. What's good people? Welcome back to the Modern Man Africa YouTube channel. Look, unless you're in one of those happily married couples in South Africa, for now, you're well aware of the anxiety-inducing roller coaster that modern dating has become. From right swipes that often fail to be converted into dates, to shoulder-height selfies that fail to disclose the mess going on below. There doesn't seem to be a shortage of reasons as to why modern relationships fail to go the distance. In today's episode, I'll be sharing what I discovered as I took a deep dive into the latest marriage and divorce numbers according to Statistics South Africa, in the hopes of getting a better understanding of the modern dating and relationship battlefield so you and I can strategize effectively. Gents, do you go into the modern dating scene with a plan? What is your mating and dating strategy? Or are you heading out into the modern dating war zone, wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, hoping for a miracle? In order for any society to become successful, its virtues have to be built on a solid foundation and held together by strong family values. Without strong families, we won't have strong communities. Without strong communities, we can't have thriving towns and cities. Without thriving towns and cities, there's no hope for successful nations. And without successful nations, there's no chance for a better Africa. Without further ado, let's get stuck into this. First, let's talk marriages. According to Statistics South Africa, for the years 2011 to 2020, 2011 had the highest number of marriages, peaking at 167,264, with 2020 bringing in the lowest number of marriages at 89,338. There was a slight 0.6% increase between the years 2015 and 2016. However, the downward trend persisted throughout that decade. In 2020, the majority of marriages were first-time marriages for both grooms and brides, at 82 and 87% respectively. Limpopo province had the highest proportion of first-time marriages between grooms and brides at 85.8% and 92.4% respectively. Interestingly, irrespective of marital status, men generally married women who have never been married. 94.3% of never married men wedded never married women, 1% married divorcees, and 0.3% married widows. And male divorcees and widowers married never married women. The proportion of male divorcees who married female divorcees was higher than the proportion that married widows. Similarly, the proportion of widowers who married widows was higher than the proportion that married female divorcees. Gents, the ladies aren't going to like what I'm going to say next, but the data is abundantly clear. Men tend to marry younger women, as 75.6% of grooms were older than their brides, 7.9% were the same age as their brides, and only 16.5% of grooms were younger than their brides. The pattern is observed regardless of the marital status of the groom. The only time the above changes is by marital status of the spouse. For example, 43.5% of never married men who married divorcees were younger than their brides. 18.2% of male divorcees who married widowed women were also younger than their brides. For the marriage and relationship type guys out there, if you're feeling like you've missed the happily ever after boat, here's how the numbers affect you. The median age for never married men and women was 35 and 32 years old respectively, while the median age for grooms and brides were 37 and 33 years old respectively. The median age at marriage for male and female divorcees were 57 and 51 years old respectively. And that brings us to the end of the marriage portion of this video. According to Statistics South Africa, for the years 2011 to 2020, 2017 had the highest number of divorces, peaking at 25,390. From 2018 to 2020, those numbers have been steadily decreasing, with a massive 32.1% decrease from 2019 to 2020, with 2020 coming in at 16,097 divorces. 42.98% of marriages that ended in 2020 lasted less than 10 years. 17.48% of those divorces happened in the first 4 years of marriage, and 25.5% taking place between years 5 to 9. In 2020, black African couples had the highest number of divorces compared to other races, which was consistent with the trend from 2011 to 2020. Blacks represented 47% of the divorce, whites 23.9%, coloreds 15.3%, Indians and Asians 6.1%, while divorces from mixed-race people came in at 3%. 17.4% and 24.7% of husbands and wives were not economically active at the time of divorce, while 14.5% and 15.9% of male and female divorcees were largely employed in professional, semi-professional, and technical occupations. Unfortunately, the information collected by Stats SA pertaining to divorce does not indicate the level of education of the couples, as is the case in other countries. Fellas, strap yourselves in, because here's where things get interesting. 52.7% of divorces were initiated by women compared to 34.2% for men. 5.8% of divorces were initiated by both husband and wife. Bro, between you and I, the likelihood that she's gonna leave your ass is pretty high. Bruh. Do you want the bad news or the good news first? Okay, the bad news is that women initiated divorce at a higher rate than men across the board, in all race groups. The good news, which sadly isn't applicable to everyone, is that black women initiated less than half of the divorces at a rate of 48%. I can just hear the brothers now. Yeah, that's our queens. Bros, chill. They're still leaving our asses. Coming in at third place at a rate of 56.9% of divorces initiated by women are colored women. In second place, coming in at a rate of 57.7% of divorces initiated by women are Indian and Asian women. Drum roll, please. And finally, the undisputed intercontinental heavyweight divorce champion of the world, coming in at a staggering 59.1% of divorces initiated by women, hailing from the mountain of Caucasus, with the scorn of being mildly inconvenienced, with the caucasity of a Karen. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you white women. Stop the show. I don't know about you, but that blew me away. Learning that led me to even more unanswered questions and dispelled the notion that other races often tend to hold that the more money or the higher socioeconomic standing which our white counterparts comparatively have leads to a happier, blissful, trouble-free existence, including in marriages. What's even more interesting to note is that no matter where you are on earth, it seems women leave marriages at a higher rate than men, irrespective of the economic development of that country. Furthermore, it would seem that white women divorce white men at an alarmingly high rate, no matter where you find them on God's green earth. With that in mind, no matter where you are in the world, please go to the nearest white guy, look him dead in the eye, and give him a hug. He may not realize it right now, but he'll need it in the not so distant future. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of this video. I don't know about you, but I wish I had this information before all the right swiping that I've done in my lifetime. If you enjoyed the information that I presented to you in this video, please hit the like and the subscribe button, as I'm trying to grow this channel and eventually get monetized. Everything that I mentioned in this video can be independently verified. I'll provide a link to the Statistics South Africa source report in the description down below. Now that you've been armed with this information, have you identified places that need tweaking in your dating and relationship strategy? Let's get the conversation going in the comment section down below. Click here to see what my hookup and dating non-negotiables are. Thanks for watching. Peace.